Hey good people, today we are going to talk about the hierarchy and parenting. Here on the left we've got a panel called hierarchy, and here we are going to have a list of all objects that are in the scene in our game. So for example, you can see that we already have a main camera in there, which is always present in the scene because we need to somehow render the image and show it to the player. So that's the first thing, but let's say we want to create a player. We might grab our player asset, the sprite, and just drop it into the hierarchy window. And as you can see, we've got another item in our list. And of course, we can see this player into the scene window. Those windows are connected. This object is the same as this one, but here we have a visual and here we've got the name of it. So it is easier to manage those objects, game objects. As you can see, at the moment the main camera and the player are equally set in the left to right position. We could call them siblings because they are like the same in the hierarchy. But let's say we want to add something to our player. That might be some weapon or some body parts. We will make them children of our player. How can we do that? We can just expand our pistol or just use whatever sprite we want, and we will just drag it and drop it, but not in here, because if we do that, it will become a sibling of the player as well. You can see it because the distance from the left is exactly the same, so it means the hierarchy is equal. Now we want to make it a child of the player. So let's just hold it and drop it on a player. And as you can see, the distance from the left has increased. It means that this pistol is child of the player and the player is parent of the pistol. Now we have this arrow down. If we click on it, we can collapse or hide all the children of that object. If we click on it again, we will show all those children again. And this is how we will build some objects that consist of many different parts. For example, if we had this pistol and we want to assemble it so we can animate it later on, we could do something like that. Let's right click and create empty. We'll do it quite often when we create empty container because it will be a container for many different objects. We can do it just to set one object like this gun, or we can do this to put a lot of objects inside just to have our project neat. Just imagine if we had like 100 or 200 different game objects in our scene, they will be listed in this place. So if we want to find one of those, we would have to scroll it up and down, and that is time consuming and it's not really a good thing to do. So that's why we will be creating some empties to be the parent of those objects so we can hide them and have our hierarchy window clean and easy to access. But okay, we've got our player with the pistol, you can see that. Of course now pistol is not really visible, I will move it to the left, and this pistol I will set order in layer to some higher value. We'll talk about it at some point in the future, so it's not really important, but this is just to show you that it works really well. But let's say we want to assemble our gun, so at some point in the future we can animate it. Let's right click and choose create empty. Let's call it pistol. It's always good to reset the transform positions of those objects. So let's click on these three dots and click reset, so it's in the middle. Now we'll get this part, so just drag and drop it onto the pistol. Just check the position, it's all zeros, which is fine. Now we'll get another part, which is this one. Let's put it there. I will zoom in a little bit so you can see better. I will put it up, let's say something like that. And now we have two children of this pistol, and later on if we decide to animate it, we can just click on one of those, change its position, and it will simulate the gunshot. And this is how we are going to do this. That's why parenting is really important. What I want you to remember is that objects that are inside of other objects, we'll call them children. The main object is called parent, and you can see this hierarchy by the distance from the left. So the more it goes to the right, it means that this is child of the child, and so on. You can always collapse it to have more space in this window, so you don't have to scroll it up and down all the time.